Hello friends, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha and welcome to the New Year, New Reads Readathon vlog. So I am just about to head out for the day, but I did want to do an intro. It is actually the day before the readathon, so it is Sunday, but I'm getting a little bit of a jump start just so I can make sure that I get everything read because the readathon is going to be cut a little bit short for me because I have a trip this weekend. So I only have about 5 days to get 3 books read. So I wanted to go ahead and share with you what I plan to be reading this week. One of the prompts is to read a book that is the newest book on your shelves. And I don't actually have this one yet, but I'm going to be reading Lost in the Moment and Found. This is the 8th book in the Seanan McGuire's Wayward Children series. That is like a portal fantasy, and I don't really know what this one specifically is about, but I think it can function as a standalone. The way that these books work is you can read them out of order, but personally and as a perfectionist, I like to read them in order so I can fully understand this world, or the worlds and world building and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to be reading this one. For a book that I meant to read last year, I'm going to be reading The Children on the Hill by Jennifer McMahon. I'm so excited to start this one today, so hopefully I will be able to give you guys an update. But I love Jennifer McMahon so much, and I didn't read one of her books last year, so I was like, yeah, this has to be a top priority for this year. So I'm going to be reading this one. It is supposed to be like Frankenstein-inspired horror that is based around a child psychiatrist and her grandkids and like a creepy kid. It has dual timelines, all that fun stuff. And the final prompt is to read a book that was gifted to you. So I originally had this book on my list and it's still there. I'm just thinking about switching it out. So this is This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousins. And this book was gifted to me for Christmas from my friend Christy from Chapters in the Coop. And I really want to read this one because it is kind of New Year's-y. And I think it is a romance, but I've been told it's a little bit more of a contemporary story with a romance thrown in. So I am excited for this one, but there is another book that I really want to and need to read this month because it's a buddy read. So if I end up changing it, I may end up reading A Wilderness of Stars, which I'm buddy reading with Olivia from Liv's Library. So I may end up reading this one instead. It's a sci-fi fantasy from Shay Earnshaw, who is an auto-buy author for me. I'm really looking forward to this one. So just kind of depends on how I'm feeling, what I feel like I can get read this week, but those are my options. So right now I am about to go to town real quick, but when I get back, I'll start my reading and everything and check in with you guys and let you know how it's going. I may also pop into the bookstore while I'm out, and if I do, I'll try to film a few clips there. And so yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with my day.
As you drive, do you know I'm looking, and I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. Forever, forever. I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on just to wake you up. When I dance around, I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop
Okay,
the time.
if you can see the book back there, I went to the bookstore. I did not get any books. I'm very proud of myself, but I had to pick up a couple things for some friends, which I'm not going to show, but I will show a couple things. I found something for my sister-in-law for Christmas next year, so that's gonna stay up. And then I got this notebook that I just thought was really pretty. It's got a little bookmark in it. I'm always needing more notebooks. I'm actually out right now, so I got this notebook. And then I also got a couple other notebooks that I think are going to be really nice for me just trying to keep up with like YouTube and Instagram and what I need to post and things scheduled. So it's called Focus on the Good, which this is all the good in my life, is all the book things. So I'm excited for that. It's got like this, people are looking at me. It's got that. And then on the inside, it's got dates to remember. These were on sale. They were like 50% off, and then members saved an extra 10%. And the way it is set up is you've got like the week of, and you can fill in stuff for the week Monday through Friday, which actually I just noticed that this doesn't have like Saturday and Sunday, which is hilarious to me. And then you've got notes pages and a follow-up. So yeah, I totally just now noticed that there's not a Saturday and Sunday, which is totally fine. I can always write that on the other side, but I got 2 of those because I felt like that would just be a nice thing for me to have. Because I'm always looking for notebooks, and I feel like that would be good for my planning and stuff. So like I said, they were on sale and I decided to get them. So now I'm gonna go home. I was not super successful with things that I wanted to find today, so that's kind of a bummer. But I did enjoy my time just browsing in the bookstore. I'm proud of myself for not getting anything because I'm going book shopping this upcoming weekend. So yay for me. I mean, I did get things, but they weren't books. So anyways, I am not going to worry about that. Somebody just got in the car beside me and is looking at me filming. Don't y'all love that? Don't y'all love going out in public and people are like, why are they talking to their phone? So anywho, I'm going to go home and start reading Children on the Hill.
I would, 'cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here?
Okay, I am doing a check-in. It is Monday and officially the first day of the readathon. So I didn't get too much read in Children on the Hill, but I did get about 52 pages in. And I'm also using this really cute bookmark if you haven't already seen it. Yvette from Livres Adores on Instagram got me this really cute bookmark, or actually she didn't get it for me, she made it for me. So this is Jovi and it's watercolor, and it is the cutest thing ever. So I'm obsessed with that. And anyway, so yeah, I wanted to update you guys on the book. So when I was first talking about this book, I was like, this is a child psychiatrist, which I think it says, maybe it doesn't say that. But I thought the grandmother in this was a child psychiatrist, but she is just like a regular, like adult psychiatrist. And she has this inn, it's called, that is a facility that is a little bit different than what you would think of a mental institution typically being. She tries to make the patients kind of feel like they are at home and feel more like a family. And so she has a little bit different ways that she does her practice. And she also takes care of her granddaughter Violet and her grandson Eric. And then one day she brings home this little girl named Iris, I think, Ivy or Iris. She brings her home and she's a little bit different, and I think she's working with her as well. And Vi and Eric get to know her and bring her in on their monster club. So they have a monster club that they have where, I think, let's see, what is this called? There's a section in here. You get multiple points of view. So you get the monster's point of view, Vi's point of view, and I don't know, I haven't gotten anybody else's yet. But there's a section where it's got the Book of Monsters, Violet, Hildreth, and Iris, whose last name we do not know, illustrations by Eric Hildreth, 1978. So then you get like a little snippet from their Book of Monsters where they document their like different people, maybe that their grandmother have talked about, where they are speculating whether or not they could be a werewolf or a vampire or different things like that. So it's really cute. This is not going to be a cute story though, but I'm very interested and kind of wondering if this is going to go into more cosmic horror because of the nature of the story. I'm not sure that I'm a huge fan of cosmic horror. I typically like more psychological horror and stuff like that, but I am really intrigued by it, and 50-ish pages in, I'm really enjoying it so far. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. I'm on my lunch break at work. Unfortunately, today I'm not going to have a lot of time to read on my lunch break, so I'm going to spend a lot of time reading at home, But we do have kickoff reading sprints tonight on my channel. So me and Gabby and Gwen and Summer will all be on there. And I will have plenty of time to read then. So I will check back in tonight. So I am on reading sprints for the kickoff for the Readathon with Gabby and Gwen and Summer. And I wanted to check in. We're on our last sprint. I haven't read a super ton still, but I am on page 82, so about 30 pages more than I was earlier. I really need to read more because I feel like I'm not going to finish all my books that I want to read in time. So yeah, but I am enjoying this so far still. I don't really have any thoughts on it. It's just a pretty, like, I don't want to say it's like a generic story because it's not a generic story, but it's just pretty like straightforward so far. But I am enjoying it. I am intrigued by like what has happened at different points in the story. So yeah, I am enjoying it. I just wanted to give a little bit of an update because I don't know if I'm going to give another update tonight. So hopefully I will give another one tomorrow. So yeah, I'm still enjoying my book. Hello and happy Tuesday evening of the Readathon. I was able to read a little on my lunch break and listen a little bit to Children on the Hill while I was at work. So I am a little over halfway through with the book. So I wanted to come on and give kind of an update on my feelings. So I am enjoying the book. I feel like I need to start off by saying that I am enjoying the book. I do think it's good. It's giving me probably like 4-star feelings right now, but there are some things that I really want to address. Not anything problematic, but just like how I feel about things. So I have read multiple Jennifer McMahon books. I've read The Winter People, The Invited, The Night Sister, and The Drowning Kind. Okay, so this is my 5th Jennifer McMahon book, The Children on the Hill. And Jennifer McMahon, for me, has always had this really unique writing style. She writes these really atmospheric stories. Like, I could tell you that in example, The Winter People is like a really chilling story. It's very like paranormal feeling and ominous and very chilling, like winter chilling and also spooky chilling. And then in The Invited, you have these people that are essentially building a haunted house. You've got the ghost of Hattie Breckenridge, who was this witch that was hanged, that shows up, and I can envision that. You've got in The Drowning Kind, where there's this obsidian black water and this creepy woman that reminds me of like the Ring, maybe, I think is what I'm trying to think of, like with the black hair all down like in her face. They're just very distinct memories of feelings and atmosphere that I have with her books. And this one, I would say, is probably not as atmospheric as her other books have been. I could not describe the atmosphere of this book to you because I don't feel like this is an atmospheric read, which is very weird for me going into a Jennifer McMahon book. So that is thing one. Thing two is, if this book did not have Jennifer McMahon's name on it and you gave it to me and I read it, I would never guess that this was Jennifer McMahon writing this book. I don't know if it's because I've like gone a year without reading one of her books, even though I've read like 4 of her other books. I don't know if it's because I've gone a year without reading her books and maybe I'm just not used to it. But I was talking to a couple of my friends that have read her books and they said the same thing. Like, they still really enjoyed this book, but it definitely felt like different than her other works. So with that being said, I feel like I'm not like, I don't want to say not connecting, but this just isn't what I expected when I picked up a Jennifer McMahon book. And I am liking it. There are some themes that have popped up that I'm not sure about yet. I do think this is going to lean, like I mentioned before, maybe possibly more into cosmic horror. I'm not really sure, but on a different side of horror than some of her other books have. There are some interesting conversations in this book about people. I think that's interesting. This does have like Frankenstein-esque-ness to it. I haven't really gotten super like delved into that part yet, but there's been things that have been alluded to. So I am enjoying it. I do want to say that I am enjoying it, but I feel like there are like a couple of potential twist theories that I have that I feel like if they're that, I'm not going to be as impressed because I never know like her twists and stuff usually. I don't know. So I'm just a little nervous because this has been like the most unique of her books that I've read, as far as like not feeling like it's her as a writer, but still feeling like The writing is good, the story is good, the pacing is good, and I am enjoying it. So just wanted to give you all that update. I'm hoping to maybe finish this or get close to it tonight and be able to start my next book for the readathon. All right, I finished The Children on the Hill, and I feel like y'all are probably wondering, okay, given everything that I've said about this, saying that, you know, this does feel like a 4-star read, I am enjoying it, but this, and this are happening, or this feels different than our other books, you're probably like, okay, what did you end up rating this? So I ended up finishing this book. It is Wednesday night, and I read a lot of it during work, some too. I listened to the audiobook a little, and I read on my lunch break. And today on my lunch break, I read everything but like the last few, maybe 30 pages. And I was like, I have to finish this. So I was at work and I was finishing the book. And at one point I was like, oh, and my coworker was like, is it really that good? And I'm like, yes. So I did overall end up enjoying the story. I ended up giving this book 5 stars. So that is a great first book for the readathon. I'm so excited that I finally got to this book. Do I wish that I wouldn't have put it off as long? Maybe, but I enjoyed it either way. It's not one that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I put this off so long. It is one that I think was really good and I really enjoyed it. So knowing that I'm giving this 5 stars, some of you may wonder, where does this compare to The Winter People? Because The Winter People is my top tier book, and I can't remember the exact rating going down, but I feel like it was The Winter People, The Drowning Kind, The Invited, and The Night Sister. So now I think maybe, this is so hard because I love the atmosphere of her other books so much that it's really hard for me to kind of rank this one in there, because realistically speaking, it probably goes The Winter People, The Children on the Hill, and then The Drowning Kind now. But I remember the atmosphere of The Drowning Kind so much, so it's so hard for me to put this one above it. But I think I need to sit on it for a little while. I did end up loving just kind of seeing how the story, sorry, that was Joby, seeing how the story unfolded, and kind of I don't know, the ending and what was going on, and then the little extra twist was just so good. I will say that I did see some things coming, but I didn't see some other things coming. So it was really good for me. I really enjoyed it. And now I am on to my next read. So instead of picking up this time next year, which is what I was going to do for my a new to you author prompt, I'm going to pick up Mapmakers and the Lost Magic by Cameron Chittock and Amanda Casillo. I have not read from this author before, and this is a graphic novel, and I feel like at this point, with it being Wednesday, knowing that I need to read this, and also Lost in the Moment and Found came in today, so I can show you guys that too. Knowing that I have these to read, and the readathon again is ending on Friday for me because I'm going to be going away for the weekend, and so I need this to end sooner just in case I can't read. But I did get Lost in the Moment and Found too, and it is pretty short, so I feel like with this and then with this one right here, I think I can realistically finish these two tonight and tomorrow. So this is my updated TBR, so I'll keep you posted as I go through these.
I'm loving this moment.
Can we stay forever?
I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that
There's a lot of noise going on in the background, so I apologize for that in advance if you hear my washer, my dog eating, or the sirens outside. But I did want to let you guys know that I ended up finishing Mapmakers and the Lost Magic. This is a middle grade fantasy graphic novel. I really enjoyed the illustrations throughout this one. I thought the artwork was really beautiful, and I really enjoyed the story. It was not like a new favorite or anything like that. It is the first book in a fantasy series, and it follows our main character, Alidade. And Alidade lives in this town of Alden. And in this town, they are kind of restricted on what they can do and where they can go and how their life is lived. The town is run by this group of people called the Nightcoats. And again, it's very restrictive on what they're allowed to do. They have to work hard, and yeah, the only thing they really have is their togetherness, until one day Alidade comes upon this door in the forest. She goes inside and finds this map and learns about the Mapmakers and memories and how Alden and the world used to be before what has happened has happened. I don't want to say too much because it's very easy to spoil a graphic novel because it's so short. This is a really good one, and I think if it sounds at all interesting to you, you should pick it up. For me, it was a 3-star, which means it was good, and this is the first book in a series. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to continue on yet, just because this was just good for me. The reason it wasn't any higher is mostly just because I felt like there wasn't as much depth in the story. I did like the messages that this was trying to portray, especially towards the end. I don't want to say because it's a spoiler, but I liked how like things kind of came together. I'll just put it that way. So I did enjoy it, and I had really been wanting to read this one for a long time, but ultimately it was just like a good read, not a great read. But I do think that especially middle grade audiences will enjoy this one. So I'm glad that I read it for the readathon. Now I'm going to move on and read Lost in the Moment and Found, which is the 8th book in the Wayward Children series by Seanan McGuire. Jordan from Bookish Gem is doing reading sprints tonight with Elizabeth and Kendall for her Court of Fables book club. And while I am not participating in the book club this month specifically, just because I wasn't super interested in the read, and January is kind of a month for me where I set my like pace for the reading year and all that fun stuff, I do want to go on and support her and also get some reading done. So Lost in the Moment and Found is only about 140-ish pages long, so I am hoping that I'm able to finish that one tonight.
'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking?
Okay, I have finished Lost in the Moment and Found. I was able to finish it in one sitting. It only took me a couple of hours. It was only 145 pages. My initial thoughts are that I did enjoy reading this. I feel like Seanan McGuire's Wayward Children series is just a really easy series to get through. I do feel like I enjoyed it a little bit more at the beginning, and maybe over the last 4 years, my reading taste has changed and evolved just a little bit, so I don't enjoy it quite as much as I used to. But I will say that the writing has always been really good and poetic, and I've always really enjoyed this author's stories and creativity and everything. And so I did enjoy this story. There was a point where I teared up a little bit at close to the end of the story. I will say that for this one and for some of her other books, it's probably good for you to check trigger warnings. This one does have some abusive situations. Gaslighting is a big one, and then kind of like a setup for sexual assault. Not maybe a little bit, but like not fully into it. There is a little bit of a warning at the beginning of this book too. It doesn't go too far into it, but the main thing for me would have been gaslighting. So if that is a trigger for you, definitely look into that before you read this book. Almost forgot to mention too with this book right here. Oh my goodness, you can tell where my hand has been sitting here editing. But I did forget to mention with this book too that death of a parent is another pretty heavy one. And it is, I would say, like graphic, like how it's like come upon or whatever, and that is one of the first things that happens. So I will say, like, if that's a trigger too, definitely keep that in mind. But I will say that it was a good one. I did enjoy it. This could function as a standalone if you wanted it to be, even though it's book 8. Some of the books in the series are like that, and you can read them as standalones, but I will always recommend starting at the beginning and reading Every Heart a Doorway first, just because you get a little bit of a better understanding of this world and of Eleanor West's School for Wayward Children, and just like understanding of the portals, like the portal fantasy, and getting to meet characters. Like in this one, there were Easter eggs, and like you kind of see things that you might have seen in the other books that you wouldn't catch if you hadn't read the other books. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to rate this one yet. I feel like it'll be 4 or 5 stars because that's typical of what I rate her books. I don't know if it'll be a new favorite or not, because honestly, like In an Absent Dream will probably always be my favorite in the series, and then Down Among the Sticks and Bones. And I haven't really loved one as much since those books, and those were books 4 and 2. and this is book 8. So I do feel like it's a really good one. I just don't know if it's like my favorite thing to read anymore, and that doesn't mean the book is bad. That just means my reading taste has kind of evolved a little bit. But that is going to be all for this vlog. So I know that there wasn't a lot going on. I did do a little bit of book shopping at the beginning, but for the most part, I was just trying to read my books and get through this week. I am taking a trip this weekend, so that's why I'm like kind of wrapping this up early. So you guys are seeing this on Monday, but I actually wrapped it up on Thursday night and have it scheduled and everything. And you guys will be seeing another vlog from me, hopefully next Friday or this coming Friday, to tell you kind of what I was up to this past weekend. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. If anything, I hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about the books that I read and maybe found out if you were interested in reading them or not. But thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave like the little like film, like video camera recorder. You know what I'm talking about? Like film, not camera, but like a recorder. What are those even called? Like, I don't even know. But if you know what I'm talking about, leave one of those if you don't leave a camera, because this is a vlog and I was trying to get like the video element, or I guess just film strip. You know what? Leave whatever you want to leave. I appreciate you being here. As always, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.